Hab was a skilled blacksmith. But on that day, he stood at his forge not to shape iron, but to endure unimaginable suffering. His hands and feet were tightly bound. Sweat covered his face while the idol worshippers mocked him again and again. You abandoned our religion and followed Muhammad. Inside the furnace beside him, a piece of iron was heating until it became red hot. Hab knew exactly why they were showing it to him. They wanted to force him to abandon Islam. They gave him one final chance. All you have to do, they said, is call Muhammad a liar. One sentence could save him from the torture that was about to begin. But Hab had already filled his heart with faith. He believed with complete certainty. My Lord is Allah. Allah is one. There is no God except Him. And so, despite the fear and pain, he refused to step back. The oppressors became furious. They pulled the burning iron from the fire and pressed it against his head. His screams echoed through the air as the torture continued mercilessly. Eventually, Hab fainted from the unbearable pain. On one side stood a believer whose faith made him fearless. On the other stood people whose hearts had become hardened by disbelief. Their goal was not simply to kill him. They wanted him to reject Islam. Years later, Hab would show the scars on his back and speak about those days. Every mark on his body was a witness to what he endured for the sake of Allah. He once described his suffering. One day the idol worshippers captured me. They lit a fire and forced me to lie on it. One of them placed his foot on my chest and would not let me move until the flames beneath me died out. The early Muslims faced horrors beyond imagination. Some were tortured beneath the burning desert sun. Some were imprisoned by their own families. Others were starved, beaten, crushed beneath heavy rocks, or pressured by loved ones to abandon their faith. Yet despite all this, the number of Muslims continued to grow. People began asking themselves, could a belief that gives people this much courage really be false? Islam was changing everything. It taught that rich and poor, slave and free, black and white were equal before Allah. It honored women, commanded justice, and called people toward mercy and truth. To the Quraysh, this message threatened the entire system they had built upon pride and oppression. In the early years, the message of Islam spread quietly. The believers needed a safe place where they could learn the Quran and gather together away from danger. The messenger of Allah searched for such a place carefully. The homes of famous companions were too risky because everyone watched them. Then Allah brought forward an unexpected helper, a young man named Arqam ibn Abi Arqam. He was only 17 years old. Arqam had recently married and owned a beautiful house near Safa. It was spacious, peaceful, and hidden from attention, the perfect place for the Muslims to gather secretly. Opening his home was dangerous. It could make him a target for all of Makkah, especially because he belonged to the family of Abu Jahl. But Arqam did not hesitate. For the sake of Islam, he opened his house to the believers. That home became famous in history as Dar al-Arqam, the first great school of Islam. There, the companions learned the Quran directly from the Prophet Muhammad. There, their faith grew stronger day after day. The foundations of the future Muslim community were built within those walls. Many of those companions were very young. Ali ibn Abi Talib accepted Islam at around 10 years old. Others were teenagers as well. Their age did not stop them from carrying enormous faith and responsibility. For 3 years, the Muslims gathered secretly in Dar al-Arqam. Then Allah revealed the command, and warn your closest relatives. The Prophet knew this would be difficult. Calling strangers to Islam was easier than calling one's own family. He invited his relatives for a meal. Nearly 40 people attended, including his uncle Abu Lahab. After they ate, a miracle occurred. The food remained as though untouched despite everyone eating from it. Just as the Prophet was about to speak, Abu Lahab interrupted angrily. We have never seen such magic before. His harsh words ruined the gathering before the Prophet could deliver his message. But the messenger of Allah did not give up. The very next day, he invited them again. This time, after the meal ended, he stood and addressed them. All praise belongs to Allah alone. I testify that there is no God but Allah. I am His messenger to you and to all mankind. He warned them about the hereafter, paradise, and hellfire. Then he asked, "Who among you will support me in this mission?" Silence filled the room. Then a young voice spoke. It was Ali ibn Abi Talib. "O Messenger of Allah, I will support you." He was only a boy, yet he alone stepped forward while the elders remained silent. The Prophet repeated the question several times, and each time only Ali responded. That single hand raised in support became one of the greatest symbols of loyalty and courage in Islamic history. Some relatives rejected the message openly, especially Abu Lahab. Others, like Abu Talib, protected the Prophet even though they themselves did not accept Islam. Still, the message continued to spread. One day, the Prophet climbed Mount Safa and called out loudly, "Ya Sabaha." It was an emergency cry used in Makkah to warn of danger. The people rushed to gather around him. Then he asked, "If I told you an army was preparing to attack from behind this mountain, would you believe me?" They answered, "Yes. We have never known you to lie." Then he declared, "I warn you of a severe punishment before you. Worship Allah alone." The truth was now being announced publicly. And although the Quraysh would continue their opposition, nothing could stop the spread of Islam. Like the sun, its light could never be extinguished.